It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Tonight's episode, photo finish.
Okay, now I'm in here. That is interesting. My comment didn't show up from before. But I tried to comment to Nighthawk earlier, so thanks for commenting. I was outside enjoying the sunrise and noticed that the show was scheduled to start, but nobody was in here, so I just stayed out there watching the sunrise come up and until somebody showed up. So I also asked before if you wanted to see Pistol Brace or receiver comments. So if you're a human and you're out there now, feel free to vote. We're sharing the screen here. I'm about to open up the YouTube video you're watching. I'm in it. So if you're a human and you're out there now, feel free to vote. That's how you can know for certain that it's actually happening. This is happening. We're going to go down. We're going to edit. No, first we're going to go in. We're going to click on the two links that are in the description of this video. And we're going to right-click and open both of those in a new tab. The first link is for the stabilizing braces comment period, and the second link is for the redefinition of a firearm comment period. So now I'm going to go and edit the video. Go ahead and just fix this problem. Okay, so sorry, I got distracted because a little pop-up came up and bothered me on my machine. So let's see. So we're going to go in here to the comment or to the edit the description, and we're going to see what the stabilizing braces comments is at. 107. Now I don't even remember if the last time I looked at this was Saturday or not. It might have been. But I'm writing that number in here for the braces. So there's 707, 15, and of the 107 that are brought in for the braces, only 39,180. So 39,180. That's barely a third. And now we'll go look at the redefinition of firearms. There's only 77,309 of those. So the brace comments have far surpassed it now. And of those 77,000, 66,000 almost, 6594. 6594. Holy mackerel. 5,940. All right, so safe. So now we have the up-to-date numbers, and we'll go back and just look at the video again. We have the up-to-date numbers now in the description here of the number of comments received for stabilizing braces, number of comments received for redefinition of firearms, and then the number that have been approved. So we're looking at about a 40% ratio been approved for the braces and more like a 90-something almost percent for the redefinition of firearm. All right, let's look at the dates now. The redefinition of firearm was the first one to be inflicted on us on May 20th. That means we have just over 50 days, 53 days left on the redefinition of firearms. The stabilizing braces came in about 10 days, 20 days later. So that one started on June 9th. That one has 73 days left. So they're about 20 days apart, 50 days and 70 days out. So that's a little over a month and a little under 2 months. Seems like a long time, but when we think about how many people are in the country, 360 something million, and how many gun owners, which there's no way to know, but let's just say 40 million to put some number on it. Who knows if that's high or low? That's so nowhere near the 100,000 that have come in on braces and less than 100,000 that have come in on redefinition of firearms. If one of the things they're going to do is look at this as marketing data, it looks like we don't care about the definition of a firearm or 80%ers or ghost guns or any of that stuff. And we certainly care about braces, which makes no sense. So this is which guns we can even own. So basically AR-15s are going to be a gun we can own or not, or at least have the uppers and everything be serialized. So quite a mess. Or braces, which challenges the NFA. So I don't know what people are voting over here, but I don't know if you can hear it. I've got a really squeaky fan going, so I'm going to shut that fan off. Maybe fiddle with doors, wiggle this little dog's belly for a minute, and then be back. So in the meantime, we're going to put on an interesting commercial. This is what it's like in Russia right now.
Борис, ты никогда не проигрывал.
Потому что я пью много водки.
Юрий, нам надо отмыть эти грязные деньги от крови.
Проклятые американцы!
Тепло сегодня для июля.
Юрий, кто эти бабы?
Ирина, это же наши дочери.
Черт, так же давно я пью. Как же вкусно, твою мать.
Россия, матушка, золото Каспия.
Отец, медведь опять убежал.
Идиот, ты выключил ядерный реактор. Блядь. Будешь сегодня ночью взламывать мне Пентагон.
Опять!
So we didn't get too many comments. We got 2 for pistol brace. I guess we're going to go into the pistol braces. All right, so I've got them zoomed in here. We're going to flip over to the comments tab. Sort them from newest to oldest, so this will be the most recent. Looks like comment 33,927. And then just right click and open in a new tab. And I'll do this for the first page, so that'll be the first 25. See how much energy I've got at the end of 25 here. We really said any other ones. Coach just said receiver just now. Mosh is live talking about CRT, so I don't know nothing about that. He's doing some kind of live from the vehicle. I don't know how he schedules his, but probably like me doesn't. So just had some time here. I don't know when Gizzard's going live, but I didn't see him even schedule a show yet. So this was not the week with Foss, so I figured I'd just go live here for a little bit while I had a little bit of energy left. So let's see. This is comment 33927. I am a concerned citizen living in the United States. To put it plainly, this new criteria is widely unconstitutional. Many Americans who are law-abiding citizens are going to be made felons overnight. This is a clear act of overstepping boundaries, which have already been set and signed off by the ATF. This in no way is going to stop criminals, yet it is going to punish the lawful. I am concerned that this will lead to more laws, outlawing more and more until the average law-abiding citizen can no longer own a firearm. This needs to stop now. If not, there's going to be many lives ruined and America will be in jeopardy from without and within. The ATF needs to be for guns, not against guns. The ATF needs to protect the law-abiding, not make them felons. Next up is 34035. Let me know if the volume's good. This rule change is based on nothing at all but the whims of some bureaucrat who is in an unelected office. This does nothing to help control gun crime and only punishes those law-abiding citizens. This is a massive infringement on both the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and the people of the United States. The ATF has no privilege or right as a regulatory bureau to pretend to enact laws. The ATF has already approved the use of this phrase, and now millions of people will be affected by this decision. Even with the fact that they already allowed these items, they should not be able to change their minds they should not be able to change their minds at their own convenience. Okay, I screwed that up. Next up is 34053. Thanks. With all due respect, this is pointless. It's going to make people felons overnight. Responsible gun owners, felons. So many arbitrary points in this proposed rule. Seriously need to sit down and again ask yourselves, is this really going to cut down on crime? Because no criminal is going to abide by this proposed rule or any other gun law for that matter. Next is 34073. We will not stand for your politicized attack on our Second Amendment. You can't just criminalize over 1 million gun owners for votes and go be woke. This isn't fair to law-abiding citizens. Here's Gizzard. I'm not sure when you're starting, so I was just doing this kind of as a filler. Next up, this one was a boilerplate for sure, but I haven't read it in a while, so this one, if you know where this one comes from, let me know, but I haven't really done the work to figure out where these are coming from. I guess we could figure it out real quick. Actually, why don't we do that right now instead of reading this one just right off the bat? So typically your places are going to be gun owners of America. And yes, there's a South America, North America, and a Central America, but they assume that you mean North America because they're centric. And it's not gun owners of America, it's gun owners of America. And then the next one is gun policy. Wait, is it FPC? Wait, is it the Firearms Policy Coalition? Yeah, well, they changed their name because their first name, Firearms Coalition, was too similar to Firearms Coalition. Oh, you know what? There's probably one at... Is there one at NRA? Does anyone know? Am I allowed to look at an NRA website on a gun channel? Am I allowed to do this? Is this legal? I'm looking at, oh look, they're trying to give me a duffel bag. Oh, look, I get a duffel bag. I get some kind of nice jacket. I could use that jacket for when I go with my lantern. If I only had a lantern. Oh, there's a lantern and a little pocket knife. Is everything I need to go out and live ruggedly outdoors. Let's see if they can help us. Hilla. They're definitely ILA. And what do we got? Comments on the frame or receiver. Chapman. Chapman. And then ILA. You know they're ILA. Well, that's nice. There's the frame or receiver. I don't see nothing about no brace, but I'm sure people will freak out about that. On May 21, ATF published blah, 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 regulations, blah, blah, blah. Look at all these words. Stupid NRA makes you read a bunch of words. Comments must be professional. Screw you, NRA. What about his suits? What about his $27,000 suits? So they don't give you no stupid boilerplate. Stupid NRA. Then we're going to go to GOA. Now, GOA will have you do some kind of boilerplate. Oh, there's a bump stock. I seen a bump stock. I'm sorry if you had a child watching and they seen that bump stock. It's like Take Action Center. There it is. They changed their website around on you. National, state. That's pretty easy. I'm going to go to national. I'm afraid of this one because national had a handgun, but state also had a handgun. So it was equally scary to click on both of them for me. All right, so now I'm on national alerts and come on. Stop the war on ghost guns. Is that really how I have to read this? And then stop the ATF pistol race. So I'm going to right click on that one and open a new window, and I'll just open this one here. So, oh, here we go. Boom. So we just figured it out. Boom. We have it right here. So here's the boilerplate from GOA. Gun Owners of America. So first off, it says RE ATF 2021 R-05. The ATF must immediately withdraw their proposed rules to criminalize so-called ghost guns. To start, the very phrase ghost guns is a politically charged pejorative used to scare Americans and justify the infringement on our right to craft a homemade firearm, a right ancillary to the Second Amendment. In fact, some of the items being classified as ghost guns are best described as non-firearms because they do not meet any federal definition and are not functioning weapons. Other items referred to as ghost guns are completed 80% receiver kits, which can be described as functioning homemade firearms rather than the manipulative phrase ghost guns. When the state of California and Giffords Law Center sued to force ATF to enact gun control by alleging threats posed by ghost guns, it was the ATF that filed a motion to dismiss the case. Here's what the ATF said in January of 2021, yes, just a few months ago. While any specific crime is a tragedy, 8 such crimes out of the 1.1 million violent crimes committed in the 6-year period is a far cry from an overwhelming wave that would cause a state injury sufficient to confer standing. Nor can California plausibly plead that these crimes would not have occurred with traditional serialized firearms. The ATF must live by its own words and recognize the constitutional right of the United States citizens to craft their own firearms to keep themselves safe. No proposed gun control law, including the proposed regulation of so-called ghost guns, will stop criminals from being able to obtain and use firearms in the commission of crimes. So that's GOA's boilerplate. And now we're going to go over to FISPA and take action at FPC over here. They've got theirs similarly to federal. And way the hell down here somewhere will be like local, I guess. There's a lot of federal ones. So I'm scrolling back up to the top of federal. We got your universal background check bill. Then we've got your Biden administration anti-gun nominee Chipman. Okay. We got your ghost gun bans. That's what we're looking for. And then we got your redefinition of firearms. We'll just click on that. So, yeah, let's, what, did something just take my GOA page? I didn't close the GOA page, did I? I think I did. Ugh. All right, well, I guess I did. So anyway, now we're going to go to their ghost gun one and take action. Brings up a thingy. Really? I got to type in my stuff? I don't want to type in my stuff. It's all these people. All right, well, I guess I'm not going to find theirs. So there's the GOA one. All right, so, dang, does anybody know what it is? I guess I'm going to have to click on it and fill out my stuff over here where you don't see it because it's personal. Let's see if anybody else has gone. Oh, I have a lunch engagement. Oh, Mr. La-di-da. Look at who's got a lunch engagement at 11. I guess I'll just keep going for a little while then. Now I gotta put in my email, really? Sorry, I gotta put my info in here. So it's taking a second to type it all in here. My clicky things. Oh, look at this. Does it put my name in here? All right, you can look at this again. So it says, here I'm doing this live. I'm doing this live in front of everybody. I got your Senator Sinema, Kristen Sinema. I think that's how her name is. And then Ann Kirkpatrick and Mark Kelly. Oh, sorry. That stepped on a frog. Senator Mark Kelly. Oops. Sorry. Stepped on a frog again. Let's see. Then it says oppose the Untraceable Firearms Act, which is a dumb name. And then we'll read what it says here. Hello, I write to you as a supporter of Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC, to strongly oppose the so-called Untraceable Firearms Act, HR 3008 S1558. Oh, wait. This is the untraceable one. I clicked on the wrong one. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Should have clicked on the other one. Where's the other one? Braces. I clicked the wrong one. Take action link. Clicked on it again wrong. I'm serious, I gotta go. Where am I gonna click on the thing? Submit a comment here. Huh. Well, look at that. So I was gonna say, no wonder I'm not seeing any from FPC. I don't think they're asking you to do one. I think they're just asking you to go do that thing. So this one was to send a thing to Congress for something else, for the ghost gun ban bills, which is something different. So this is going to send something to Congress on behalf of something. This isn't the price that we're talking about. All right, well, so now we know that, what do you call it? Gun Owners America's one is the one that uses the word pejorative and ancillary. So I'm guessing they did that on purpose so that they can search for those words. I'm guessing, right? Otherwise they're just snooty and they type that thing with their fingers up, their pinkies up. All right, well, I just read that one, so I'm not going to read it here, but that is it again. Oh no, this is actually a different one, am I saying? So that one we just read was the Gun Owners of America one, and it references the, what is it, 8? It references the 8 such crimes out of the 1.1 million. Really like that part. Even though it's boilerplate, it's freaking classic with that stuff. This one is different, so we will read this one. This is a different boilerplate, which I don't know where it comes from. If you know where it comes from, let us know. And then we won't read it anymore, but I haven't read it in a while, so we'll read it right now. Oh, let's see. I shouldn't keep up on what people are saying over here. So Nighthawk Medic was first one to jump in. Good morning. And then Makocho and DJ. And then Gizzard says he's not doing the show. Echo is out there. Doug. And that's it, everybody. So good morning. And it looks like since Gary isn't doing a show, he hates 2A and the internet and communication, we will do something in his place for a little bit, at least. So next up is comment 33913. Oh, okay, hold on. We're going to find out what's going on with Gary. So a family restaurant. My coworkers wanted to have a Sunday lunch get together with their spouses. It's going to be in the city about an hour away. That sounds kind of interesting. I think it would be cool to do a Gun Channel's breakfast thing where we all show up someplace and eat breakfast. I know exactly the spot, but we will talk about it off air. So next up is, I'm reading again, 33913. RE ATF 2021 R-08. ATF must immediately withdraw its proposed rule entitled Factoring Criteria for Firearms with Attached Stabilizing Braces. ATF has approved the use of a shooting support with a pistol since at least 2006, and ATF has been approving pistol-braced firearms and pistol-braced accessories for sale since at least 2012. Now, pistol-braced firearms are abundant within the firearms community. Sorry, I had to cough. A gun owner is sure to find them for sale at local gun stores and on the firing line at local pistol ranges. District of Columbia versus Heller and United States versus Miller protect my individual right to keep arms, especially those in common use for lawful purposes. ATF estimates there are between 3 million and 7 million pistol braces and pistol braced firearms in circulation. However, a Congressional Research Service report recently put out a more accurate estimate that there are perhaps upwards of 40 million pistol braces and pistol brace firearms in common use. Law enforcement should not spend their time infringing on the constitutional rights of citizens by measuring barrel lengths, overall length, and checking ATF guidance documents to figure out which gun owners should be able to keep their legally purchased and ATF-approved pistol braces and braced firearms. This proposed rule change is unacceptable, a violation of the statutes at hand, and a violation of my Second Amendment rights. It must be withdrawn immediately. All right, first off, that wasn't boilerplate. I apologize to whoever wrote this. It's very well written. It's got some great points, and it was not boilerplate as far as I can tell. So this Congressional Research Service report, I'm very interested in. So we're going to drop this up here and take a look at it later. Next up is 34012. This one is not short. Dear ATF, the recently proposed reclassification of pistol-braced firearms and the accompanying scorecard system is another blatant attempt from the ATF to criminalize millions of law-abiding citizens. An estimated 3 to 4 million pistol braces have been sold in the U.S. to date, and some of the most popular current firearms are some of the most popular current firearms accessories. It is the ATF who stated pistol braces were legal and now intend to retroactively change their minds, which is not a wholly unique phenomenon in regards to their interpretations of gun legislation. It is entirely irresponsible for the ATF to constantly go back on their own decisions multiple times over because their incompetence impacts the rights of every American. Their intentions are often suspect at best, and the current attack on pistol braces is no different. Their goal is to create an intentionally confusing grading system in an effort to entrap unsuspecting gun owners. The current scorecard appointed to categorize current pistol braces on the market is intentionally vague and complicated. The ATF clearly does not want to provide objective parameters for classification because they clearly desire to retain the ability to slide the parameters to fit their agenda. Even with their own verbiage, even if a weapon occurs less than 4 points in each selection, they can still classify your legal pistol as a short-barreled rifle. Even if someone miraculously managed to pass the ATF's parameters, they will still be clearly punished. This arbitrary and extremely narrow set of rules will deem nearly every AR-15 or similar firearm with a stabilized arm brace illegal. There are little to no stabilized braces that would not be affected. Any overly complicated classification process would be impossible to effectively enforce from one of the most ineffective government agencies who barely understands their own mission statement, let alone any legislation or the Constitution. The ATF's mission statement says the mission of the ATF is to protect communities from violent criminals, criminal organizations, the illegal use and trafficking of firearms, the illegal use and storage of explosives, acts of arsons and bombings, acts of terrorism, and the illegal diversion of alcohol and tobacco products, meaning the ATF was founded on the basis of protecting law-abiding citizens, especially from criminals who have legally obtained firearms. It is appalling how the ATF has woefully abandoned any semblance of their intended purpose. Rather than go after existing criminals, the ATF prefers to create criminals from technicalities. Whether from spite or pure ineptitude, this behavior should not and cannot be tolerated whatsoever. The ATF has forgotten their role within the larger government structure. They are solely a law enforcement agency that works within the executive branch of the federal government. They are not a part of the legislative branch, and their opinions should not hold any weight pertaining to the creation of any new law. They are not elected and therefore have no right to dictate their political agenda to anyone. Their continued circumvention of Congress and the God-given rights of every American citizen is a mockery of the Constitution and a spit in the faces of each and every man and woman who fought for it. The Constitution and its amendments are simple and easy to follow. How has the ATF utterly failed to understand the term shall not be infringed? Do not be mistaken. The recent actions of the ATF are a desperate grab for power that solely aim to punish every legal gun owner in America. Criminal statistics do not support the push for such drastic actions. Rifles are a small percentage of gun-related crime, even less for stabilized pistols. The rights of the people are not something to be toyed with. It's a long one. There's a lot of stuff in that one, and none of it's bad. Next up, it's 33916. Got a lot of grandpas out there. Weather's going on, I guess. I'm going to take a second and drink some of this coffee. All right, 33916. This proposed rule attempts to infringe on the rights of legally armed and law-abiding Americans purely for the optics of gun control. The ATF made pistol braces legal, and they have become widely used by millions of Americans. Now, with this rule, law-abiding citizens are in possession of an illegal weapon. Money might have been thrown away, and better yet, more money needs to be spent to maintain your law-abiding American title. The worksheet proposed is an abomination to freedom. Nowhere should your rights be determined from a checklist. Freedom is not a choose-your-adventure novel. The rule proposed, the section that ATF can make their own determination, is completely arbitrary and oversteps the rule as proposed. Lastly, nowhere in the proposed rule lists punishments for not abiding, which can only lead one to believe that everyone in possession of one of these weapons is now a felon. This was not included cause even the ATF cannot be so obtuse that believe that now they can take something that was legal for them, bought legally, and now if you own one, you are a felon, and not have this be laughed at. I messed that up, but I get the intent of that one for sure. Yeah, exactly. Long way, but good in, right? How does the ATF get away with losing and actually trafficking? It's a good point. There could be congressional oversight. So I guess if we were to bug our representatives to do more oversight, the ATF would have to spend more time doing that instead of what they're doing now, I guess. By law, federal agencies must, such as ATF, must consult the public when creating, modifying, or deleting rules in the code of regulations. This is an annual publication that lists the official and complete text of the federal agency regulations once the ATF decides that regulations needs to be in. I don't think they've ever done two at the same time before. Nobody has mentioned that in any of these comments either. Then after they get the feedback, they make changes and then publish a final rule with a specific date. Yep. But they also have got these comment periods and decided not to make any change at all. So these comment periods have been effective at giving them insight and the number, I suppose, and the subsequent, or like the ancillary, to use what's her face's term, the ancillary comments they're going to get. Like if we're just doing the comments, that's one thing. If we're doing the comments and talking to Congress people, and now they're getting more and more of these, I think they said they had 48 senators tell them to quit doing the pistol braces. We need to have them do 48 to say the receiver redefinitions also, and then another 48 for what's his face. And hopefully that'll get gun owners to realize that there's quite a few people motivated to start addressing the NFA completely. Imagine what it'll look like when they have to start justifying the NFA, right? And we can be doing it on their own terms. How can they just disregard the ADA? The suppressors are a hearing safety device, and they're creating a barrier to safety. There's so much of this that we could be challenging them on. The accessibility of the brace is just one factor. The accessibility of the firearm, the 12 gauge firearms. Well, I'm going to try not to comment too much. We'll just get back into the comments here. So this one is 33906. This is an important issue to the gun community. It needs to be reconsidered. The document falsely claims a much smaller number of braces in circulation than there actually are. There's anywhere from 10 to 40 million of them in circulation. If this passes, then millions of Americans will be made into felons overnight. This proposed rule change is unacceptable, a violation of the statutes at hand, and a violation of my Second Amendment rights. It must be withdrawn immediately. That's interesting because these are verbatim from some of the other ones, so maybe that was boilerplate. Let's see, so this next one is 33942. In reference to U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, ATF, and its proposed rule, ATF 2021 R-05. I have difficulty shooting a larger pistol without the stabilizing brace one-handed. It greatly improves the control, which aids in safety. The stabilizing brace compensates for a major disability caused by arthritis. Wow, they put in as much effort referencing the thing as they did saying stuff, and they didn't say specifically not to do this. But thank you for commenting, and I think it'll go into the pile of don't do this. Next up is 33953. This proposed change is groundless and pointless. There is no reason to think the nature of this firearm has changed. It has not suddenly become a weapon of choice for the commission of crimes. No legislation has been passed that requires or even suggests this change. It appears that this change is nothing more than an attempt to extend the power of the ATF. Because many thousands of people now own braces, this would simply have the effect of creating thousands of criminals. This is unacceptable. This is a bad idea and should be abandoned. Wow, it's going to say criminals overnight a lot. Next up is 33943. This one is boilerplate. So this is boilerplate with maybe some stuff added. I'm not going to read it. It's basically, we already read it. And this one is also boilerplate. I think. Yeah, the proposed rule change is a violation of our statutes at hand and a violation of my second right. It must be withdrawn immediately. So somebody must have some sort of cut and paste type of thing going on with some boilerplate. This one. Proposed rule change is unacceptable. That's interesting. So this one is definitely another boilerplate, but I don't know what they're doing. They're like, it's like they go to Subway, they grab a bunch of different toppings, and at the end they got their comment. And like this time I'll take there shall not be infringed, and it's unfair, and how dare you? And I'll make that my comment this time. And next time it'll be a shall not be infringed, and I object, and it'll hurt me, and then we'll make that one a comment. Anyway, so next up is 34072. This looks like a real one. This rule is a violation of the Constitution and has not been voted on by elected officials. This subjective measuring scale was designed to entrap millions upon millions of law-abiding citizens who have diligent in their intent to follow the law, who have been diligent in their intent to follow the law. Additionally, if they somehow get what is in essence a passing grade on this proposed scale, the ATF is still given the right to deem this weapon in violation. This type of abhorrent disregard for the United States Constitution and rule of general law should not be allowed. The proposal has no solid foundation in which to justify itself. I mean, wow. So much better than here's another boilerplate. I think. Yeah, I don't think this one is. It just looks like one. I'm going to read it, even though it's long and it might be a boilerplate. 33964. RE ATF 2021 R-08. The ATF must immediately withdraw its proposed rules to criminalize pistol braces. According to your own reports, 3 million pistol braces have been sold since 2013. This new rule would make each and every one of these devices worthless and a felony if not registered. You would be turning millions of otherwise law-abiding gun owners into felons overnight. Moreover, your research shows that this proposed rule would cost the gun industry and everyday gun owners who are already struggling to navigate through our country's economic hardships tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in conversions, taxes, and destruction of their own property. In fact, the new ATF test to determine if a pistol counts as a pistol is unfeasible for millions of law-abiding citizens. It appears that the ATF has intentionally designed its factoring criteria for rifled barrels weapons with accessories commonly referred to as stabilizing braces to effect a complete ban of every pistol-based firearm currently on the market. Reviewing the ATF's proposed worksheet that would be used to classify firearms as either legal pistols or illegal short-barreled rifles, literally no pistol-braced firearms would count as a pistol. Yet, most pistol-braced firearms would fail Section 1 of the worksheet because all but the shortest AR-style firearms are over ATF's new 26-inch limit on a pistol's maximum length. Moreover, under Section 2, virtually all, if not all, pistol braces on the market, including those previously approved for sale by ATF, would receive more than 4 points allowed, meaning the firearm would be classified as a short-barrel rifle. And who would this proposal even help? The ATF has arbitrarily decided that a pistol AR is a gangster-type weapon, despite criminals actually preferring handguns to rifles. Your proposed rules would do nothing but crush law-abiding gun owners, trample upon our Second Amendment rights, and risk turning us into felons with the stroke of a pen. I demand ATF withdraw its proposed rule on pistol braces immediately. Well, it's a good one. I like that one. The next one is 33999. A stabilizing brace is what is said it is to stabilize the rifle pistol for the user. From a family standpoint, this is helpful to my family to handle the recoil and operate the rifle pistol comfortably and correctly. Would you rather have a person to be handle a gun correctly or someone who can't control the gun? It is unconstitutional and bare right nonsense. You are more worried about law-abiding citizens that obey the law than a criminal. We need protection ourselves and to defend ours too. Did you know that most gun violence cases are in non-gun areas? My family comes first, and we have the right to protect it and defend our family and our rights. Thank you. That was a good one, too. This one is a boilerplate. It's not that other one, though. This one, I think I just read that one, so I must have read a boilerplate. This one is a long one, but it's not a boilerplate. 34054. My comments in opposition to ATF proposed Rule 2021 R-08, factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces are below. This new proposed rule is an attempt to rewrite the law in an arbitrary and exceptionally aggressive manner. In short, ATF proposes to redefine the word rifle, something which should have been done via Congress, not regulatory fiat. This rule would create an either poorly designed or deliberately insidious point system, where if a firearm gets more than 4 points in two separate sections, the firearm is automatically considered an SBR. The factors are written in such a way that simple everyday changes to a firearm can add points to the total. Rather than clarifying the law, the ATF's attempt at administrative lawmaking seems to make owning braced firearms a felonious minefield. Oh, we read this one already. The agency's goal is clearly to punish many firearms that use stabilizing braces into the National Firearms Act, requiring a $200 tax stamp and registration. If the ATF believes that barrel length and NFA type firearms are so dangerous and criminal, why don't they remove them from our armory? This brace issue keeps coming back again and again. We, the peaceful gun owner, keep telling you to focus on actual criminals instead of the peaceful citizen. Yeah, felonious minefield is, I remember that from other ones, but so that must be boilerplate. Unless it's possible I read that one. I just don't remember any of these other ones. This one looks like a lot of boilerplate, so I won't read it. And this one is definitely boilerplate. Dog's getting antsy. And then this one's boilerplate, but I'll say this part. When President Biden was asked whether he was coming for our guns, he said, bingo. While Biden won the presidency, a majority of anti-gunners wishing to take our guns did not win the majority in Congress. Therefore, Biden is attempting to use the ATF to circumvent Congress and arbitrarily ban millions of pistol-based firearms. This constitutes a gross abuse of power and cannot be allowed to stand. That's pretty cool. I think I've read that one before, but it's worth reading again. All right, I think this will be the last one. Is 34061 ATF 2021 R-08 to whom it may concern. I am writing to oppose the new pistol brace criteria being proposed by the ATFE. The pistol braces are in common usage by millions of citizens and were said by the ATFE to be legal. Without any new gun laws being passed, your agency decides to change them and to declare them to be illegal, therefore making millions of law-abiding citizens into felons with the stroke of a pen. It isn't your job to make new laws, it's your job to enforce the laws already passed by duly elected representatives. If they wasn't illegal, then the pistol braces, if they wasn't illegal when the pistol braces came out, then no new laws considering pistol braces have been enacted, and the BATFE has no authority to make them illegal. Oh, that's a good one. So it's interesting. We read a bunch of them, I think about 25 of them this morning, and not one of them was anti. So that's interesting. Some of the receiver ones were anti the other day. Nobody wanted to read those today, so we read pistol brace ones. Is that what they're going to do? Is throw the pistol brace out there because they sent it out in December of 20, and they said, well, we know that that's going to piss them off, and we know exactly what to do to make it where it's going to really piss them off, and they're going to come back so exasperated. And then what we'll do is we'll complain about the ghost guns with a bunch of comments on the other one when they're not looking. And then we'll say that, yeah, you're right about the pistol braces, but you're also right about the redefinition of guns. We should get rid of those. So is that the scam? Let us know in the comments what you think. If you listen this far into it, turns out Gizzard is not going to do a show this morning. He's too busy going out to some fancy restaurant. So have fun. He does a show normally on Sundays. I think you got something like 100 shows you could listen to. Otherwise, later on today is Locked and Loaded Latinos, the best show that is on each week that is about Second Amendment, and it's live. And do we know who's on today? I think we do, but I forgot. But thanks for tuning in. This was about another hour's worth of comments, about 25 of them. Let's see, we have the fight. Let's see, our battle for a battle against taxes and bills is still going on. We had a pretty miserable weekend. No new ground being waged there. We didn't lose ground, thankfully, but with no real new ground. So if you'd like to help us fight this campaign against bills and taxes, that's the big one, then we would appreciate super chats. We're here on YouTube if you want. It's pretty easy. Or check out our Patreon. That's the best way to support what we're doing. Consider taking $20 a month that you might use to move boxes. Or, boxes you might use for moving. Wait, hold on. Take $20, you might subscribe to some online service, such as Wasted Hollywood, Garbage, or people that have agendas to get rid of our freedoms. And instead of spending $20 on one of those feeding services, spend $20 on 2A. Throw $5 at us, because we need it, and we are 2A. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. That's how much money I'll make today. Boom, $20. But take that $20, and if you got a different $20, and throw it at 2A, right? So go to Patreon, throw $20 at it, give maybe us $5, $2, some amount of bucks, and then go over by Clover Tech. That dude does good stuff. Give him a couple of bucks. G23 is doing a show. I think he's on the Patreon. Is he? No. Is he? No. But there's a couple of people over there now. We'll do a show where we're going to talk about that. And I'm trying to think of who we're supporting over there now. Skip's Tactical. My Caliber History, I think is what he's calling it. And some others. So anyway, consider throwing some bucks at 2A stuff. That's how we are able to keep doing stuff that's hopefully cooler than some of the other stuff that's out there. Thanks again for the super chat. Do appreciate it. And yeah, G23 does have a Patreon, he says, and he does a show every week. So yeah, we'll be chatting more about that. But until then, thanks for tuning in. And when we can, we'll be back to read some of these race comments. This was a pretty decent one, 25, all positive. Next time, it'll definitely be on the receivers because I think those are more important, actually, and they're definitely not getting as much love. And we'll be back to pick up later.